I bet you saw that thumbnail and said, no way. I'm here to tell you, way. But before we start, I'll give you a quick rundown so you can know what's going on. The show is a monster of the week situation. Todd and his friends try to stop whatever the Book of Pure Evil is unleashing on the world, and it's also a monkey's paw. So you'll get your wish, but somebody usually ends up dying, being maimed, or like this poor guy from episode 1, bleeding out of his rectum. Yeah.
I'm bleeding out of my ass.
But alright, I think that's enough. Let's get started. Todd and his friends are hanging out in computer class. The computer lab? I'm not sure, because while Todd and Curtis are playing video games, everyone around them is doing something else. The teacher passes by and gets a glimpse of what they're playing. It's Fisting Fantasy VIII. Fantastic name. Now that's a Final Fantasy I'd like to play. But it's not Final Fantasy. It looks more like an Elder Scrolls, and they're playing with the GameCube controller for some reason. Well, at least it's not the Nintendo 64 controller that everyone used to use. I guess it's because it looked weird and alien. It's good for, it's good for camera. After Curtis trying to get an A for making an entire game, which you know they did not make, the teacher locks onto Taylor, who's watching something he shouldn't be watching in school.
That better not be porn, Tyler.
Todd and Curtis tell their teammate, Triple X Assassin XXX. God, I do miss those names. I used to have that type of name too. Not Assassin, I had Dark in my name because I was an edgy boy. Also, this game has online. This show aired back in, I think, 2012. Back in my day, we could barely get Warcraft 3 to work in my computer animation class. They must have been running some pretty beastly computers in that computer lab. They send Triple X Assassin XXX in first to tank, and these little a-holes friendly fire him from behind, messing him up and getting him offed in the door. I mean, I get it. I was a little shite too, but back in my day, I knew not to F with the tank or the off tank because I didn't want to have to run back and get my gear repaired and waste all my gold. I guess this game works differently. Todd, Curtis, and the rest of the group leave the computer lab, laughing about what they've done, thinking that they just greased some kid in Norwegia. But we find out that it was one of their classmates. The Book of Pure Evil then appears before Triple X Assassin XXXXXX. He opens the book and recites the words in Latin. Okay, I think we all know when something is in Latin, you don't recite the words. It'll summon a devil, maybe you'll activate a zombie hillbilly family to come take you out when you're in the cabin in the woods. Basically, never ever recite Latin. Or I think that's how they even brought Slappy to life. Yeah, never do that. Latin never turns out well or works out for you in the end. As he utters the words, the Latin words transform into the word restart. And it looks like a button, and Triple X Assassin XXX hits the button, transforming the entire school into a giant castle. Yeah, didn't see that coming, huh? Kept that from you. It's an isekai too. I think it counts. I mean, it has to count. It's not a completely different world, but they're sent into a video game, and there's a lot of those, so I'm counting it. Todd and his friends are now isekai'd into Fisting Fantasy VIII. The characters load in, and we get Todd the Barbarian. His name is Power Pounder 666. Curtis then loads in, and he's the Lady Wizard, Lady Death Boobs 69. Nice. It's a good number. It's a strong number. Jenny loads in. She's the Village Minstrel, which I'm guessing makes her not a DPS, and she does provide support, and she does heal, so I'm guessing she's kind of a jack of all trades in supporting, I'm guessing. It's been a while since I've seen the episode. And her name is Beard Babe. And the one thing I remembered very well from this episode, because I guarantee you, there are not a lot of Western made shows out there that have this combination of character at all. Hannah loads in, and she's a Katarian rogue / thief. Her name is King Dong 1138, which foreshadows what's to come. Question, does 1138 mean anything? I looked it up and I thought it was leet speak, but the T is supposed to be a 7, so I guess that doesn't make it leet. I'm not sure, but I feel like it must mean something. Let me know in the comments. Todd is hyped to be his barbarian, and he points out that Curtis is purple and he is stacked. Good for him. Good for all of us. Hannah, the smart one of the group, figures out that someone used the book to put them in their video game. Someone who really liked cat girls. He must be a man of culture. Jenny is extremely bummed out that she's basically a busker. Todd tries to raise her spirits by telling her that back in the day, minstrels were basically rock stars of their time, and Jenny does something that gets under my skin. She badmouths the ocarina.
Instead of a weapon, I get a friggin' pan flute?
Now, I'm not a big Nintendo fan nowadays since they've become so bloody greedy, but I do love me some Zelda Ocarina of Time. To make things a little worse, Todd is stuck with a level 1 wood sword, which... what's the point of a mighty barbarian if he has no mighty weapon? But ominous music begins to play, and we focus in on Hannah. She says she thinks there's a dead snake in her pants, and Hannah lifts her skirt to show the dead snake. And that ain't no dead snake. That is a mighty oak, a powerful rod. I guess what I'm trying to say is the girl's packing. She's almost as large as me. Almost. Yeah, I don't think I can show it on YouTube, even though it's just an outline of one, but it goes from her thigh to her waist, so safe to say she is blessed. Seriously, who on the writing team of this show is this based? Hannah is not happy about her blessing, but Jenny points out that Curtis has a rack and she has a peen, so they're even. Oh, and in this show, Curtis and Hannah are dating. Todd and Curtis know exactly what's going on with Hannah here. Here, I'll let them say it instead of me.
Futanari.
Okay, seriously, who on the writing staff thought about this? Because I would love to shake their hand. Because this has to be the only live-action Western show that has a cat girl Futanari in it. It has to be. There can't be more than one, right? If you know any more, please don't leave them in the comments because I would hate that. And I'll probably have to check them out to make sure you're not lying. Maybe do a video on it, I'm not sure. Jenny gives us the plan. First, they're going to find that lame dork that did this to them, and then they're going to get rid of Hannah's magnum dong. And they begin their journey in Fisting Fantasy 8. Oh, hey, this is cool. We get a nice little overworld map. And their first destination is the stairwell. This show didn't have a huge budget, which makes it so much more charming when they do things like this. And we get a common video game trope. Well, I don't know if it's that common, but the final boss shows up in the beginning of the game, you fight them, and you're supposed to lose. But sometimes you can beat them, and sometimes the developers will be cool and just end the game for you right then and there. You know, roll credits, you beat the final boss if you're that good in the beginning. I remember, I think Devil May Cry 5 has something like that, and then you can end up with a situation like Sekiro where you can defeat the boss right then and there, and then the game just goes, nah, this guy threw a knife at you off screen and now you lose. So, you know, it depends on what you get. The Red Knight starts monologuing and he tells them that he is, well, the Red Knight, and he is the ruler of all, and he welcomes them to his kingdom of death. He gives them the rundown of the rules, which basically boils down to they have 3 lives and he has to take them out 3 times for their lives. And after that, when he succeeds, he rules the world or the entire kingdom. Todd immediately points out what we're all thinking, that this is Triple XXX Assassin, and there's no way it's not him. Or is it? Todd threatens the Red Knight, well, to attack him. And yeah, it makes sense, final boss, like I said, the video game trope, that you should attack him from the start, and he's going to try to take the shot, but the problem is that Todd gives him way too much time to monologue. If it were me, as soon as he appeared, I would have attacked. But instead of attacking him right away, he announces that he's going to attack him, and that gives the Red Knight enough time to teleport away.
Joke's on you, pal, because we're gonna smoke you right now.
Oh, will you?
The team carry on their journey and make their way to the village of Elosia. They are met with NPCs, and they let them know that the Merklurkers destroyed their village, ate all of their crops, and they are about to make passes at their wives. Alright, it looks like we got our first quest. It's a simple one, we just have to take out the Merklurkers. It can't be that hard. Todd and the team wonder what a Merklurker is, and I'm kinda with them. and we get to see what it is. It looks like a giant gnarly orc. I was thinking maybe it was going to be more fish-like with the name Merc, you know, like World of Warcraft, where, you know, what is it, Murlocs? That's what I was thinking, but no.
We're the Merc-lurkers of death!
Oh, I was wrong here. It's the Merc-lurkers of death. It's a little fun thing in this episode where everything is of death. It's a better time where everything was of death. Todd raises his level 1 wooden sword and goes in for an attack. And it goes about as well as you think it would. The sword immediately breaks. But all is not lost. Curtis steps in and raises his staff, ready to zap the Merc-lurkers. And that doesn't go well either. He unleashes his lightning bolt. Immediately, it takes out the entire team. Yeah, his friends, he hit them with friendly fire, and they've all now lost a life. Curtis, realizing his mistake, turns his staff around and unleashes another bolt of lightning, zapping the Merc-lurkers in one shot. Todd, Hannah, and Jenny reload in. One life less now. Todd, rightfully pissed off, attacks Curtis with his level 1 wooden sword, and that actually works. It takes out Curtis, causing him to lose a life. Well, at least they're all even now. They continue their quests with only 2 extra men left. Okay, I'm gonna stop right here. I get it, they're mad. I'd be mad too. Losing a life for no reason when you only have 3 continues. But we just saw Curtis one-shot the whole team. So it's an AoE, and then he turns it around and one-shots the Merc-lurkers, again, an AoE. So there's an area effect spell that you can take out multiple enemies. He must have a large mana pool because he just one-shot everything. That's a strong spell. It took out enemies, friends 2 times in succession, and he didn't feel faint, and he's not slowing down, so I think for sure he has a large mana pool, like I said. Personally, what I would do to survive this situation is focus my whole strategy on building up Curtis. I would make him the glass cannon. A glass cannon is someone who hits really hard but can't take a hit. Basically, they get one-shotted, but they can one-shot everyone and everything else. And then, if I were Todd, I wouldn't bother with my weapon. It's not going to do anything unless, you know, it's only going to hurt my friends. I would work on building up my defense and getting a shield so I can protect Curtis and the rest of the team as a tank. And I would have Jenny work on leveling up her buffing skills to make Curtis even stronger and giving everyone more defense to make everyone last longer. And then there's Hannah. She's pretty much their only DPS. I would have her act like her class, you know, a rogue. Pop out, use stealth, start taking out stragglers and people that Curtis's bolt lightning missed. But they don't, and they continue their journey. Well, at least it looks like they're going somewhere fun. They approach the Hall of Treasures. Todd and the team need to find the sacred sword so they can beat the Red Knight. And to do that, they need money. But before they make it to the shop, we get to see what a chest looks like in this world. It's a sparkly gold locker. Again, low budget show, and they have to make the budget work, and I love it. Jenny lucks out and finds 50 gold coins. Is that a lot? I don't know. We don't know how the currency works in this world yet, but it sounds like a lot. Curtis tries his hand at opening a chest locker, and he gets a free skull, and this ends up being a booby trap, immediately taking him out. Now he's down to his last life, just like that. Their strongest damage dealer is now down to their last life. Come on guys, you're screwing up. Before they can continue their journey, they meet Mischievio, an annoying little stuffed creature that won't stop rhyming his words. And he reminds me of the old days where every show, every character had to have an annoying sidekick. You know, Snarf, Orko, Chim Chim. They're all terrible, especially Chim Chim.
Gentle Mischievio is my name. Aiding heroes is my game.
And of course, Curtis loves this thing. Mischievio tells him that he can take them to the blacksmith to get weapons. And Jenny brings up a really good point. Can they trust this thing? It has Mischievous in his name. Well, they decide to trust him, but Todd lets him know that if he tries to pull anything, he'll drop a deuce on his furry little head. Mischievous stays true to his word and guides them to a blacksmith. And it's their friend, Jimmy. But Jimmy's an NPC and can only recite the same few lines that he's been given, like a true NPC.
Hey gang, what can I get you from the secret chamber of stuff?
And Curtis screws them over again. He asks about the magical brazier, and surprisingly enough, it costs 50 gold. He immediately agrees to buy it, wasting the only money they have. Mischivio seems to like it, but this is kind of going with my plan. Instead of making Todd the tank and giving him more armor and a shield to protect Curtis, Curtis now has armor to protect himself. So they're kind of doing what I say they should do. Kind of. Todd tries to still buy a sword, but Titty Wizard spent all their gold.
Titty Wizard spent all your gold, dude.
And he can't buy any sword in the shop. All hope is not lost though. Mischivio says he knows where he can find them, a sword. But he does it in an annoying rhyming way, and I'm going to spare you from that. He takes them to the sacred temple. They enter the sacred temple, and Todd is the first one to see the sacred sword, and its name is Sand Dragon. Honestly, I don't hate the name, sounds pretty cool to me. But it's guarded by Snaketopus. While Todd struggles to pull out the sword, we see Snaketopus. Look at this, look how cool this is. It's a little special effect, and it looks great. It's actually creepy. His mouth is really creeping me out. Curtis, in an actual good move, decides to bolt lightning Snaketopus before he can do any harm to the team. But he forgot his staff back at the blacksmith. Ah man, Curtis really screwed up here. He's their strongest player and he has no weapon. Can he even cast without a staff? I don't think so. Oh, come on, Curtis. Okay, here's what I would do in this situation. Nobody has a weapon. I really wish they had bought Todd at least a shield, but what can you do? They only had 50 gold. I would leave the area, let Snaketopus lose aggro because they're playing a video game, so I'm assuming video game rules apply because we already see that normal humans act like NPCs. So I'd get out of range, lose the aggro, and try to have Hannah, stealth in and one-shot Snaketopus for a backstab, or at least with a backstabber do a ton of damage, or hold him down, I don't know, something, but Hannah, stealth in and one-shot Snaketopus with a backstab. They don't do that though, and Snaketopus goes in for the kill, and he lands the shot. He bites Hannah. He didn't just bite her, he poisoned her, and now she is down. Not out, but down, and the poison spreads throughout her body. Snaketopus lets them know that he has the antidote, and he'll give it to them if they offer him a sacrifice. Todd makes a pretty good call right here. He says, give him Mischivio. And I agree, yeah, give him Mischivio. He's not a part of the team, and we still don't trust him. Get him out of here. But Curtis steps in and says Todd can't make him choose between an imp and his girlfriend. Which, yes, I would pick my girlfriend, not some random imp I just met. But fine, he offers himself for Hannah. But Snaketopus, being the sneaky underhanded snake that he is, tells him there is no cure, and he goes in for the kill, just like he did with Hannah. It looks like the metal brazier from before actually comes in handy, because when Snaketopus goes in to bite him, instead of biting Curtis's neck, which I don't know why he didn't aim for that, he lands his hit on the metal brazier, causing his teeth to become lodged in it, and when he tries to pull out, his teeth get ripped out of his jaw, which is pretty gross, and it gets stuck into the metal brazier, causing him to retreat. But not before a really quick motorboat. Oh man, I don't know if you could show this nowadays without getting into trouble. With Snaketopus retreating, Todd is able to receive Sand Dragon, and before he can go in for the kill, Snaketopus gets away. Now they have a bigger problem though. Hannah was bit, remember, and the poison is still spreading throughout her body. What are they going to do? Okay, how can they save Hannah? She's in a sticky situation. I don't think they have any potions, because if they did, they would have used it. None of them are healers. Maybe try sucking out the venom. I know that's not like real in real life. That was just a thing people would say, but it's a video game. It might work. Maybe it does work by those sets of rules. I hope so. It doesn't hurt to try. Mischivio actually knows a place that can help. And since Curtis was nice to him and almost sacrificed his life for him, he helps them. But not for them, only for Curtis. So it looks like Curtis's kindness is coming back to help him. He takes them to the Grove of Healing. Turns out Jenny, being support, actually has a healing skill. It doesn't look too great in combat, but if you can get someone alone, you could pretty much revive them, as she does that by playing the ocarina. she seems to really get into it, which, yeah, ocarinas are cool. I think they left the healing grove a little too soon. Personally, I would have looked around for, potions after seeing that one of my teammates almost getting taken out and us not being able to do anything. Heck, even if they can't find a health potion, maybe they could find a mana potion, a speed potion, something. They just kind of left way too soon. They approach their next destination, an ice cave. Mischievio lets us know what the enemy is in this area. It's a frost goblin, and we see her, the frost goblin, and the makeup looks really good. It kind of looks like a deadite, but she says something. She says that she smells them. Todd, being very observant, notices the door and points it out to the rest of the group. They have to figure out a way to get to the door without being touched by the goblin, or they'll freeze to death. Todd then says that this is a job that requires stealth, and Todd and Curtis both look at Hannah. They're rogue, which makes sense. Also, as a racial bonus, her species specializes in stealth, but they have a very big metal problem. Even if Hannah is able to successfully sneak past the frost goblin, how is she going to open that door? I wonder what she could use to open that. The frost goblin was even nice enough to remind him that she can't see them, she can only smell them. Hannah finally makes her move, and she sprints down the hallway, ducking behind the frost goblin's victim, showing us what her fate could be if she is caught. Hannah slowly and carefully makes her way past the frost goblin, but the frost goblin does know where she is in that area. Remember, she can smell them. But she still hasn't been able to pick up on Hannah just yet. Hannah is able to press herself against the wall. She is not safe though. The frost goblin is right in front of her. Hannah darts out of her hiding spot and hides in front of another one of the frost goblin's frozen victims. While Hannah steals her way through the frost goblin's domain, the frost goblin herself is closing in on Todd because she smells, well, shit. As the frost goblin gets closer to Todd and the party, Hannah is able to get to the lock, but she still does have that big metal problem. She doesn't know how to open the lock. The shape is strangely familiar though. Hannah says to herself, if only she had a stick that's 10 inches long. God damn girl, 10 inches long? She might be able to pick the lock with that. Mischievio, putting Todd and the rest of the group in danger, shouts loudly across the hallway after Hannah's done all that work stealthing, and he tells her the answer lies beneath her waist. Now, because of Mischievio, the frost goblin is alerted to Hannah's presence and starts to close in on her. Hannah finally realizes that this is a video game and that it specializes in the ridiculousness.
Wait, this is a video game. It specializes in the ridiculous.
Hannah, I don't really have any other way to say this. I might, but I'm going to say it this way. She whips out her magnum dong and starts to prick the lock. And holy hell, she does it. She uses her thieves tool, I guess maybe it's a master lockpick, to, well, pick the lock. And I hope this doesn't awaken anything weird in me. Dang it. Opening the door lets in the heat, causing the frost troll to retreat to her frozen cave. The party reunite, and they rejoice. While Mischievio's not paying attention, Todd does something that I wish they had done a long time ago. They get rid of Mischievio by shoving him into a locker. Curtis asks why they did that, and Jenny, which yeah, I completely agree with, says that Mischievio was a liability and he almost got Hannah frozen. I completely agree with Jenny here. Mischievio's outburst almost got the whole party taken out. We are getting close to the end because now they are approaching the lair of the Red Knight. And that lair happens to be the cafeteria, which is a good thing. Maybe they could find some food, some healing items, and get back into fighting shape. Before they could do any of that, they run into Triple X Assassin XXX23XXX.
And so ends your life of death!
Before Todd can even unsheath his mighty sword, Triple X Assassin 23XXXXXX raises his giant armored foot and stomps the ground, sending a red seismic wave that is in the shape of little red squares, immediately taking out Todd, Jenny, and Hannah in one shot, Only Curtis remains alive. Now everyone's down to their final continue. Instead of this mighty battle with swords, which would make sense because of, the show's budget, it's a dance battle, and surprisingly enough, Jenny is the one who takes the lead in the final fight. You wouldn't think a goth girl would be into rhythm games. It looks like it's time for some DDR.
You play Boogie Woogie Uprising, don't you?
No comment.
Oh, wait, sorry. Boogie Woogie Uprising. The final battle begins, and we start at level 1, and the gang clear it pretty easily. Level 2. It's getting a little trickier, but it looks like they're starting to get the hang of it, because they're even able to end in cool poses. No time to catch their breath, because we're at level 3, and they're picking up the tempo. Todd and the team are dancing furiously, and in this intense battle, Todd is able to see the symbol of the Book of Pure Evil appear on the Red Knight's chest. Todd seizes his opportunity and delivers a devastatingly powerful plunging attack to the Red Knight's chest, sending blood spattering everywhere. And it looks like they're able to do it. They take out the final boss. And of course, there's going to be a sequel.
But you will encounter me again in Fisting Fantasy IX next spring. Pre-order it now.
But something is wrong. The world hasn't gone back to normal. Once they're able to complete their tasks from the Book of Pure Evil, everything usually reverts back to how it was. While the team is trying to figure out what the hell is going on, because they did defeat XXX Assassin 23XXX, right? And right on cue, Mischivio appears. Mischivio is raring to go and ready to fight the Red Knight with his friends. The group tell him that they already did that without him. This finally gets under Mischivio's skin, and his voice changes from that annoying imp voice to that of a normal human being.
We were supposed to finish the quest together!
Turns out Mischivio was XXX Assassin XXXX23XX all along, and his name is Kyle. And he used the Book of Pure Evil to make Fisting Fantasy VIII real so they could be a clan for real. Todd does not hold back and lets Kyle know that they don't like him, and they kill him all the time because they don't like him. And Kyle knows that they don't like him, but he thinks it's because they hate the Red Knight, his character. So he made his character the enemy and made himself another character so they could fight the Red Knight. And after all of that, Curtis can't even remember the guy's name. Jenny points out another problem with this plan. He thought he could become their friends by becoming an annoying little shithead character like Mischivio, which, yeah, no one was going to like you, man. And all of this pushes Kyle to the edge, causing Mischivio's eyes to glow red. It looks like there's one more boss fight. Mischivio raises the Book of Pure Evil, but it looks like Jenny has had enough of this shit and punts Mischivio straight into a wall. And that did it. That's what they needed to do to go back to the real world, which is another fun little video game trope where it builds up this boss and you just kind of one-shot him. I think the Batman game had that, and another game, I think No More Heroes had that. It does get annoying sometimes, but it was fun in this. The Book of Pure Evil flies away and everyone's unable to grab it. They weren't able to catch it this time, unfortunately. Sadly, Todd wasn't able to become the hero. And even worse, Curtis's sweet rack is gone.
My boobs are gone. I had plans for those.
Me too.
Bro, what? Okay, so he did have plans for that, but he wasn't going to do it with his girl. He was going to do it with a homie. And I get it. I love the homies, but I don't love the homies that much. And that ends our episode on a really interesting note. And that was the Futanari Catgirl episode of Todd and the Book of Pure Evil. And this absolutely has to be the only show, the only live action show, the only live action Western show that has had a Catgirl Futanari. It just has to. If someone knows another one, I will be shocked. And I would like to know, because if you know, let me know. I have been Velvet, aka Black Velvet, and I'm out. Please have a lovely day.